The first screen you see in this application is going to be the calendar for events and tasks. This application is used for customer relationship management and project management. One of the main things that the calendar does is to track events, tasks, and things like meetings and such. We're going to show that in detail before we leave the calendar, but I want to point out the individual elements that are in the calendar itself. For example, like it has the current date. You can have the calendar, which we're selecting right now, or you can edit or add users. You do not use the multitasking, multi-language area. That's only for the developer. There's a question mark over here in the corner, and what that does is that shows you all the elements that were built into this calendar as a plugin for this application. If there are additional stuff that was added by the developer, it will be pointed out by the developer so that you can understand how this interface works. The first thing that I want to point out is this is the button that allows you to add a new event to the calendar. Events in the calendar are things that may be tasks, meetings, or whatever. And what you're doing is you're tracking those by the individual. And in this particular case, you can have any number of users in the actual accounts here by adding in them in the user screen. So as the administrator and the developer of the application, I only have 2 records in here now, but they can have as many as you want in here. As you click on this, for example, watch this area over here. If I click on this, you can see that that calendar did not have those events in it. So what it does is Lucy May's, her calendar is now clean. And if you move from one day to the next, back a day or forward a day, whatever events are for that date will be shown. You can see it in a week view. And the week view will show you both the daily and weekly views. If you need to add an item to that, you can click on the plus to add a new record, or you can click on the date to see the bottom dates change down here, showing the events for the daily. Then in the monthly, it's similar to that, only they don't have the weekly events in there. You only have the events for the monthly area. And you can see that this does cover quite a broad area. And you go month to month, back and forth. And then there's a year view where it shows all the items for the year by months, and you can see them switching across months. Down at the bottom of the calendar screen, you can see that there's a profile area you can click on, a preference area, and a re-login area. These will be discussed later. Then there's a list. I'm not going to click on it because it changes the size of the screen, and I don't want to do that right now. But basically what it does, it lists in categoric order by date all the events for all the calendars for the current selected person. I'm going to be covering, let's go back to the daily. I'm going to be covering in the daily screen some of the different task things that are going on in this screen. And basically what they are is as you add a new appointment, and things that are tasks and things that you have to do are considered appointments, it will automatically put an underline in for the date where you create it. So for example, if I did things on the 13th, all items for the 13th would have an underline by any date for the daily, and then if I added something on the next workday on the 16th, then that would have an underline on it by adding a new one. Now let's go back and I'll show you what these are over here under Administrator. These are appointments that have expired, and what that basically says that there were different events during the period of time where they were not completed and they should have been, and they went into an expired type of a situation. Now these are not normal, I'm just showing these so that they were not cleared out so you can see what they are like. Like here's one that goes back to May of 2014, and you can see that these items are items that need to be either cleaned out or finished for whatever reason why they were not finished. and they give you a pop-up that gives you all the information about them individually if you put the cursor over the top of them. Now let's go ahead and do the next step. We're going to go to the next video, and what it's going to do is it's going to explain when you add an appointment in the calendar, what happens and how you do that. So let's go to the next video.